chat. I want you to type in number 1 and let us know where you're tuning in from, which part of the world you are tuning in from. So please, let's get that going. I like this to be a two-way thing where I engage with you rather than just sit down and talk. I need to communicate with you. So I'm just going to copy this right now, put it here, and then we're good to go. So for those of your friends and families who couldn't make the call, I'm just going to paste it in here. And boom, there we go. So good evening, YouTube. So if your friend sent you this YouTube link, we're about to share some information for you, and especially our guests on the call. You have taken the time out to be here to obviously learn something. And thank you for making time. So I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's new to our calls and here for the very first time. So let's give a shout out. So we got Mr. Dilip. How are you, brother? Anybody here that needs eyes sorted out or glasses? Dilip Hansji is the man to see. Then we've got Tilo. Nice meeting you. We got Shikil from Shikal from Sukraj from Durban. Good evening. We got Zain from Friday in Johannesburg. Welcome. And our 5 a.m. club. It's 5 a.m. in New Zealand right now. And we got Denise from New Zealand. We got Tabita from Namibia. Tao from New Zealand. New Zealand, I'm just in black, you know the whole All Blacks with the haka. Well, it's time to when you come to South Africa, teach us how to do that. So we got Yvette. Good to have you on the call, Yvette, from Pretoria, South Africa, and we got Ntatsi. Sorry if I butchered that. I'm trying. Okay, from Johannesburg, iPhone 13. You can change your name from LAX. Good to have you. Okay, guys. Please keep on coming. I don't want to waste too much of time because I've got some important information to share. So thank you, everybody, for making time always for being on this call. So before I want to start, I'm going to give you a small itinerary or an agenda of exactly how this call is going to work. Very, very simple, right? I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. The first part, I'm going to show you why you're here. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'm going to show you how to accumulate. And then I'm going to show you what I've done with Q&A, okay? So there's 3 components. Now, it's easy to be on calls like this when somebody tells you, please get on this call, and I promise you, you know what, it's going to change your life. And this is not one of those calls. What we're going to do on this call is to educate you. But what you put in is entirely up to you. So before I even start, I need to understand where you guys are in terms of technology. I can't talk about accumulating something if you don't know the value. You understand, right? So I just want to find out from you. You guys are watching on YouTube as well as the guys in Zoom. I want to find out from you guys if you know what is Web3. Because if you don't know what is Web3, then you don't understand this whole transition, the movement, and the importance of being on this call. Okay. So as I said, there's a chat at the bottom. Type in yes if you know what is Web3. Obviously, the members who's always in this call, I do cover that so you would know. But let's give the guys who are brand new here a chance. Let them respond. Do you know what is Web3? Y for yes, N for no. Let me see in the chat, and then I would continue with what I have to say. So Tiro says, I'm a blockchain layer 1 miner, well-versed in Web3. Very, very good. Well done, Tilo. That's good. So Zain says no. Mixie says no. Okay, cool. I got enough no's to actually show you guys exactly what we are doing. And guys, I want you to pay attention because we got some blockchain experts here as well, who's obviously is going to look deeply in what I'm doing and verify what I'm saying as well. So let's start. Are you guys ready? So Web 1, very simple. When the internet was first created, we were in the Web 1 space. Why? Because we could read only. So Web 1, read only. You could not communicate with anybody on that side. So the Yahoo News, etc., classifieds, etc., all that was on Web 1. Understood? Read only. Web 1, read only. So as we evolved with technology, internet, hardware, etc., then came the Web 2 space. So what's the Web 2 space? The Web 2 space where we could read and write. So now you could do 2 things. You could respond. Now, that is all your Gmail. Initially, it was Yahoo Mail. Now we still have Yahoo Mail. Then we got Gmail, Hotmail. Then came all the social media platforms, your Facebooks. Then came Instagram, or WhatsApp communication. Then came TikTok. Then came Microsoft Web 2. Anything that you can communicate with but belongs to the bigger industry, that means a corporate, you are in Web 2 because you are centralized. They own your digital data. For an example, how many of you know what you clicked like on 3 years ago on Facebook or Insta, Pinterest? How many of you guys know what you clicked like on? Duh. You can't remember, right? But these big companies, they have an algorithm of you. They have an avatar of you. So every time you communicate or you speak while your phone is off, this phone is recording and picking up keywords when you speak. Ford Mustang, Ford Mustang, Ford Mustang. You'll see when I open up my Facebook or Google, you'll see ads on Ford Mustang because I'm a Mustang guy. You understand? So whatever you say, whatever you type, whatever you click like, I like the shirt, I like the shoe, I like the cap, I like the handbag, I like the rims, I like the house, I like this holiday, I prefer this airline. They collect the data, they monetize it, and they sell it off. You don't even know that it's sold. Right now, your email, Gmail address is worth up to $180,000. How does that make you feel? That's Web 2. Okay? Web 2 is read, write, but you own nothing. Your digital footprint or data mining is controlled by those big companies, Google's, Microsoft, Meta. Okay? Easy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to Web 3. Web 3 is read, write, and own. So here what I'm going to show you is you owning your own digital data. So banks fall under Web 2. Under Web 3, we've got AI, we've got blockchain, we've got crypto. All the good stuff that's happening right now in the world in terms of technology is happening in the Web 3 space. So banks are now saying, wait, we are on Web 2. If we don't pivot to Web 3, that's it. Because crypto can be sent within seconds to another country, but Web 2 banking has to go through your bank, through Forex, go through government regulation before your money reaches overseas. That's Web 2. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you officially to the world of Web 3, where the transition is happening and you get the front row seat to see how this is happening. Okay? Did I get your attention? There's a reactions bar at the bottom. Give me a thumbs up if I got your attention. So some of the stuff I might say, you may think, Shane, I really don't quite understand. That's understandable. It's okay. You can come in, you can watch the recording, you can, watch it again, repetition. But I'm going to make it as simple as possible. So, a bit about myself. I'm in the space now for the last 14 years. I was the first person in Africa to buy a car on the blockchain with Bitcoin. Okay, it's even branded. You can see it's even branded with Bitcoin. So for those of you who doesn't know what it means I didn't use money. I didn't use cash. I didn't use vehicle and asset finance. I didn't take a bond. I bought something from a reputable dealer without using money. And that is like kind of a breakthrough, because when people think of Web3 and crypto, they think it's pie in the sky and something that's just tangible. So that is why I did that, to show Africans especially that the space we're in is tangible. Okay, so I work with smart contracts. I know Tilo says they into layer 1 blockchain, me as well. I'm heavily into AI mining, crypto mining. I do all of that. Everything in the Web3 space. I don't believe in somebody working for a corporate per se. Okay, so how did this, this whole idea come to me? So July last year I was in Dubai, and the buzzword in Dubai, I was actually invited to meet the president of a country called Central African Republic. And what he's doing is, and I just want to show you where Africa is going, because it's very, very important for you guys to know this. So this is the invite that I had. I was invited to meet the president. But more importantly, what is he doing? So it says here, unlocking the new world of Web3. Can you see that? That's the flag. So Central African Republic is basically a country near Chad and Sudan, the top there. So the buzzword in the room was exactly. So what this guy is doing on Web3, basically is taking all his resources, like your emeralds and even building structures like hospitals and bridges, and they're putting it onto the blockchain and they're tokenizing it. So people from around the world could buy those tokens, and when the hospital turns a profit, depends on the tokens you have, you earn an income. Yeah, Africa, Web3. And the buzzword was XRP, Ripple, XRP, Ripple. We were bankers from Dubai, Europe. The buzzword was XRP, Ripple. And me at the time, I said, okay, I'm more of a Bitcoin guy, but well and good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happened. This is the part where you listen, because I'm about to show you factual stuff, going directly to science, not my opinion. Nothing on this call is scripted. It's not an AI photo. I'm going to go to actual sites to show you what is happening in the banking space with XRP. Okay, so let's go. Now, the token we're talking about today is called XRP. How big it is? Well, it is the fifth largest. No, this is actually a stable coin. So we got Bitcoin is number one. First, this is a crypto. This is a crypto. This is a stable coin. This is a crypto. So that's three. And then XRP is number four. So right now it's going on sale. You can see this. Why? Is because the rich are trying to dump the market and they want you to sell your crypto. But in the last 24 hours, it's up 12.1%. That's 2.85 billion that came in the last 24 hours. Okay. So what is XRP? What is XRP? Let me explain so you know. So we got the company that's called Ripple. They are the ones that's actually created this technology for the banking sector. And I'm going to prove that to you. And XRP is their token. So Ripple operates on its own. XRP is on the blockchain. It's on its own. Okay. Decentralized. Does not belong to anybody. Now, why was it created? And it's like $1.21. So if you're anywhere around the world, under, I would say $22. In South Africa, it's like under 23 Rand for one. So what is so special about this? That's why the person took time to invite you for you to learn that. So let's cover that very, very quickly. So Absa Bank, let's start with Absa Bank. Note that this is corporate and investment banking. It is cib.absa.africa. This is a website. This is not some blog that I'm going to pull out somebody's opinion to give to you. Okay. 15th of October, 2025, all banks partners with Ripple. Now, remember I told you I was in July, I was in Dubai, and they told me that this is happening in South Africa, and I didn't believe them until this was released. Now, while I show you this, I want your mind to work. I'm here to talk to your mind, okay? I want you to think things loud when I say this. How much of research do you think that Absa Bank put into this before publishing this article? Do you think the actuarial scientists did their homework? Do you think the risk analysts did their homework? Okay, so some of you say, yeah, but Shane, I don't deal with Absa Bank. Maybe they're just a bunch of idiots. They don't know what they're doing. Fine, I'll agree with what you're saying. So I did some homework. I looked at other companies. Now, this is March 2025. Way before Absa's list of institutions that are using adopting XRP. SBI Holdings, Japan. Okay. UAE, Fujairah UAE, USA, PNC Financial Services USA uses Ripple. American Express, how many of you use American Express? Partners with Ripple. Standard Chartered UK, Ripple. Santander, for those of you who watch football, you'll see all the shirts, Standard UK, Spain, big bank. Commonwealth Bank of Australia, boom, experimenting with Ripple. By the way, this is 2025. I got something for you, yeah? 2025. This article is March 12th, 2026. Ripple has revealed plans to obtain an Australian financial services license through BC Payments Australia. So can you see? This is not just propaganda. This is happening in real time. So we've got South Korea, we've got Saudi Arabia, we've got Vietnam, we've got Russia, we've got Standard Bank, South Africa. You know the big blue bank? How many of you bank with them? Uses Ripple technology. Now, let's do something. Let's look at regions. Now, let's look at regions around the world. You got UAE, you got Saudi Arabia, you got Brazil, you got Mexico, you got Europe, you got India, you got Japan, you got Australia, you got South Korea, and you got Africa. Okay? What's happening in EU? Let's show you. Ripple officially holds a full electronic money institution EMI license in the European Union granted by Luxembourg Financial Regulator. They actually have their EU money license, Ripple. I hope you, a lot of people look at crypto and they think, man, it's pie in the sky money and all of that. But why are the banks moving towards us? Why are countries moving towards us? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Now that I'm done, I want you to just reflect on what I just said. The very banks that you bank with, are taking your earnings and they're saying we need to partner with Ripple. Now let's ask ourselves why this is happening. So I showed you XRP, the price, $1.26 or something. Okay, that's around 22 Rand or so. Showed you the price. Then I showed you who's adopting it. Then I showed you a whole list of countries that are partnering with Ripple. Now that I've placed this whole scenario in front of you, you need the only thing in your mind is supposed to be, why don't I have XRP? And these are the reasons. Oh, Shane, you don't understand. I know my one uncle, who was a mechanic once. His mother-in-law lived down the street who had an aunt who knew the babysitter who tried buying Bitcoin once and it didn't work. So that is why it doesn't work. I know my aunt who lives down the road who was going out with this shoemaker, and he tried selling soap one with XRP. Because he was not successful, then I don't decide not to do it. That was one of the reasons. The second, your government told you, hey, this is a scam, stay away. Propaganda. You know, all the big companies like JP Morgan, Warren Buffett, our South African government. What about our South African government? Okay, because you might say, Shane, the banks are moving there, but what about our South African government? Now you can do some homework with your governments. Okay, now look at this. This is Finance Minister. You guys can see my screen. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has brought cryptocurrency formally into the South African capital flow management and exchange control regimes. Draft flow management regulations have been published. Crypto transfers to be authorized and tracked. Didn't the government tell you that it's illegal? By the way, guys, I'm always reading. I'm always reading about blockchain. Didn't the government tell you that it's illegal? But they are regulating it under the crypto asset bill. But more importantly, they bring it under the capital flow of the treasury. This information I gave you right now is the only reason that you could have been on this call and said, Shane, I've learned something today that I never knew. And this is the reason why you thank the person who invited you on the call, because this is happening under your nose and it's only under 21 Rand and you could buy a whole lot. And when these things start flowing into the system, the price goes up and you become millionaires. Now, on this call, I'm going to show you how to do that. This is the first part, done and dusted. Okay. Now, when I tell you that on this call, we're going to show you how to make $1 million, and some of you, your mind won't allow you to think that far. Why? Because in your current reality, Shane, you don't understand. I am just battling now to put food on the table. Shane, you don't understand. I collect a SASSA grant. Today, I helped somebody who's on this call, and good to see you on the call. I don't want to mention your name. I can see you on the call. And she told me, Shane, I'm a pensioner, SASSA. And I said, don't worry, I'm going to help you. Well, you know who you are. I can see you on the call right now. So I don't know where you are in your life right now, but I don't want you to have a limitation belief. Because when I got involved with Bitcoin, governments told me it's illegal. People told me it's illegal. Every crypto project from 2024 was shut down. Every crypto project. Why? The governments are in the Web 2 space. They didn't want us to evolve in the Web 3. Now the banks have realized if we don't move to Web 3, guess what happens? We're going to be the next Nokia. Now, why banks are making this move? I showed you they're making the move, right? The next thing your mind is going to ask you, oh my God, Shane, why are they making this move? Very, very simple. If I have to send money from here to China using the blockchain, it takes me like literally minutes or seconds to send money across. 1,500 transactions per second to be precise. Banks take you 2 to 3 business days. So now money has gone digital. You know, I can send you an EFT. Okay, so I can call somebody here, says, can I have your banking details? Add beneficiary, boom, instantly they get the money. But if I have to do an international transaction or overseas transaction, it's going to take me 2 to 3 business days. The banks are in that place now. If they don't evolve, a lot of business owners are going to say, you know what, can I just pull off some of my funds, convert it to Bitcoin and make payments, please? Exactly what they're doing on the Strait of Hormuz. Those ships that's going past, Iran says, we want cryptocurrency. It clears like that. The US will never know who sent it to me. They don't even know what's our holdings like. You go through. So banks are in the situation where they need to evolve to faster payments. Okay, so you guys are sitting in a very, very important Thank you, Greg, for that there, for adding to the call. Your mic was unmuted. So, guys, please mute yourself. So now banks are making moves. So what I've done, I showed you the price. I showed you who's basically moving, and now it's about to show you how to make $1 million. Now I made my first $1 million, not rands, with Bitcoin when everybody was against me. You guys are sitting in a very, very beautiful place right now where the governments, banks, everybody is saying, hey, you know what? Crypto is now legal. Why? They're accumulating it. SARS also wants your crypto. How can SARS tax you on something that's not legal? Let's be honest now. My point is, for the first time in history, banks are changing the payment system, and you guys have a front row seat. Now the question is, how do we act on it? How do we monetize it? How do we make money from that thing? Because this is long, long, long in the process. But at this pivotal moment, 2 weeks ago, the Clarity Bill was passed in the US Senate in America, 15 votes to 9. The next month or two, it's going to pass the floor. Once that is done, the bill is passed, the Clarity Bill. Basically, the Clarity Bill is saying, we recognize crypto. And there's a regulation, finance houses can go ahead with it in terms of banking. So guys, how do we position ourselves for 2026? That's what we need to ask ourselves. How do we position ourselves? How do we get a lot of XRP? Because some of you probably say, Shane, you know what, I just have enough to put food on the table. You know what, but how do I go about this? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why you're here. I'm about to share the PowerPoint with you. And please, I don't go in detail with this PowerPoint. I'm going to be very, very brief with it. I'm going to share all the important stuff with you. And if anything that you see on this call intrigues you and you say, Shane, that makes sense, then we will sit down with you and we'll take you much more deeper. We'll answer your Q&A and all of that, right? But now I'm going to treat everybody on this call as this is brand new to them. So I don't want to confuse. I'm just going to show you how to accumulate XRP and how to make $1 million. Are you good with that? And this is coming from a point where we've done it before. The guys on this call have done it before, but we want to show you why and how this time it's very, very important for everyone to partake in this. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. So Tabitha just says, Bank of Namibia Deputy Governor and a decision with parliamentarians to allow people to buy their Bitcoin. Namibia, Tabitha, I think when I spoke to you, I told you that it is coming. Even in Zimbabwe, I spoke to Zanine, who flew down from Zimbabwe to meet me, Kev. This is something that Africa cannot ignore right now. They're going to position themselves, and you guys on this call can actually do that. So that basically means XRP AI bot. Okay, XRP AI bot. So I'm going to show you how the whole thing works. So there's a disclaimer. I'm not here to give you financial advice. This is purely for education. Okay. Now you do your own research. You do your own due diligence. But when you're doing your research, don't go to your Googles and your YouTube. Go to factual sites. Don't go to blogs to do research. You don't get people's opinions on research. You get factual information, right? But I'm going to cover all of that on my call now. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, everybody knows it. Okay, there you go. This little thing there. Now, you buy this, you hold it long term. It's an asset token. You buy and hold long term, right? That's Bitcoin. Ethereum, layer 1 blockchain. You create dApps on it. So let's give you some education. Web 2 world, it's called an app. You go to Play Store, you go to Apple, you buy apps, right? Centralized, it's called app. On the Web 3 world, it's called a dApp. The D is for decentralized. Okay, dApp. Web 2 world, it's called finance. That's the word we learned in school. Web 3 is called DeFi, decentralized finance. You get it? So Ethereum is an asset token where all of this happens. Sorry, a technology token where all of this happens. It's there for technology, right? So Bitcoin asset token, Ethereum technology token. XRP is a banking token. Now, this is why I go through the whole long process in the beginning, because when I say banking token, light bulbs go up. Oh, yes, Shane, I just saw all the banks, right? Okay, cool. Now, what is XRP? Basically launched in 2012, used by banks, which I just showed you. It's there to replace the SWIFT banking system. Now, what is this? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the glue that holds the whole thing together. Brad Garlinghouse, this is the CEO of XRP. He's one of the guys that's sitting in the advisory board with Coinbase and I think JP Morgan as well in the US. He's the advisory board for the crypto bill. Big, big, big. That means if the CEO of XRP is sitting there, what does that tell you? Big things are coming, but I want to touch on this to replace the SWIFT banking system. Why is that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. I may ruffle some feathers. I'm not getting into politics, but it's important for you to know this. So I also learned about this more while I was in Malaysia. Last week I was in Malaysia, waiting for an AIP conference with Denise and Tao that's on this call as well. Learned a whole lot of stuff with AI. You know, what's coming is like mind-blowing. But also what's mind-blowing is the way banking is done around the world. Now, check this out. What is the SWIFT banking system? In the chat there, for those of you who are brand new, do you know what is SWIFT? Please type in 1 if you know what is SWIFT banking. Please type in, type in Y if you know, type in N if you don't know on the chat. Let's go. I'm checking who's, guys, I want this to be two-way. So Alvin, cool, my man, you know what is SWIFT banking? Zain says no, cool. Shakila says no. Okay, good. If you don't know, hear me out. So SWIFT banking system basically created in 1973, 52 years old. So what is it? It's like a huge SMSing service, like a bridge. So if you want to send money to another country, you need a SWIFT code. Okay. So the SWIFT banking system, it connects 200 countries with over 11,500 banks. So for an example, okay, let me give you an example. So real life example. Okay. So our event is happening in July. So I'm booking the Sabaya. So I just put this message out. In terms of deposits, it will be an international payment. In terms of your SWIFT code, etc. Hi Shane, sorry, been meeting. I'm a coordinator Tyrone to attend accordingly, and we will provide you the SWIFT code when processing payment banks. So this payment is coming in, I think, from London, either London or Belgium, I'm not sure, right? But wherever, we need a SWIFT code. So you're sending money anywhere in the world, you need a SWIFT code, takes 2 to 3 business days. And you know, the typical jargon costs you a lot of money. So that's SWIFT. Now, here's the problem. The problem is the SWIFT system is being weaponized. So if a country does not go along with what the US is saying, or the powers that be, you know what happens? Sanctions. So I'll give you an example, and I use this all the time, and I want you to pay attention. Russia attacked Ukraine. So USA says to Russia, I'm going to put you in timeout to sit in the corner, putting sanctions on you. Putin, sanctions. So when you put sanctions in the country, what you do, you disable the SWIFT payment system. That means that country cannot communicate with other 199 countries. You are financially crippling them. Understood? Right. Now, that also means whatever US dollars that Russia had in America, it's called bonds and treasuries. That's what gives the dollar the value, right? The petrodollar. That 300 billion was seized. That shows Putin, this 300 billion is now ours. We got sanctions. You cannot take your money back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's happening right now. The other countries are saying, whoa, wait a minute. That means if we don't have a plan B for our banking, and if we don't agree with the US and what they're doing, sanctions can be put on us. And that means all our bonds and treasuries with the US will be frozen. And more importantly, we cannot communicate financially with the other 199 countries. Problem, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, back to this yet. See how everything's coming together? Future. Can you see it says future adoption? Countries and regions with future adoption. Middle East. Anybody knows what's happening in Middle East now? Anybody? Hello? I don't know if you've been sleeping, if you have no idea what's happening. Latin America, who knows what happened to Venezuela? Hello? Who knows what's about to happen with some of the Caribbean and Cuba and Greenland? You're paying attention, right? Africa, who knows what happened in Burkina Faso, Libya, South Africa? You know what's happening now. You know, they're saying that South Africa is with Iran and Donald Trump is not happy with South Africa. Notice I'm not trying to say a lot of things because I don't want my YouTube to get flagged, right? Nigeria, South Africa. Southeast Asia, hello, Vietnam. This information you don't get from your bank manager. This information you don't get from your financial manager or your financial advisor. This information your boss doesn't give you at work. This information you don't get in your lecture sitting in your classroom. I've learned from a very young age to follow the smart money before it happens. People used to ask me, Shane, you're involved with Bitcoin for such a long time, but it's a scam. I said, yeah, that's what you say. But the smart money is doing something else. JP Morgan, stay away. It's rat poison. Everybody sold. Price fell down. Shane bought. JP Morgan bought. Price goes up again. Who was following the news? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why XRP is going to go up. XRP was built to replace the SWIFT banking system. Does that make sense to you? If it does make sense to you, I need to say who I'm talking to. Reactions are important. Give me a thumbs up if you understood what I just said. Okay? Your great-grandfather, your grandfather, and your father didn't live in a time where banks and governments were moving payment systems. So if you are born in an average life or a below average life, and if you die in an average and below average life, that is your fault because you are seeing this information before it can happen. Future adoption. Now the question is, what are you doing with this information? It's easy, ladies and gentlemen, to take information. Oh, I wasn't Shane this call. I learned about this. And yeah. And then 1 week's time. Yeah, man, Shane. Things are bad. Hey, I'm suffering. Let's go on. Let's go on to the next PowerPoint. You guys understood this. This is basically a deep dive into XRP. Now, SWIFT is old, slow, expensive, confusing. XRP is new, fast, 1,500 transactions per second, virtually free, transparent. Okay, let's move on. Now, if XRP takes 25% of the SWIFT network, you see how the next slides flow because you already know what I'm talking about, right? It just flows. So if XRP takes over 25% of those 11,500 banks in 200 countries, one XRP will be valued at $10,000. Who likes the idea of that? Double portion, please. I want some of that. Only 25%. But for you guys on this call who says, Shane, how long that's going to be? You know, all the negative jargon that comes in your head. You know, that voice talks to you. Don't ask me what voice, that voice. You know, the one that's talking to you right now? Yeah, that voice. Now, we say for you, what if it goes up to $10? I don't know, next 6 to 12 months, even 2 years. And we help you to accumulate 100,000 XRP. Just 100,000 XRP. 100,000 XRP times $10 would give you a grand sum of $1 million. 1 million smackaroos. Will 1 million or 16 million rand in New Zealand dollars? Guys, help me out. You can put it in the chat there. Will it help you? If it just goes to $10 to make $1 million. So that's why I said to you in the beginning of the call, I don't want you guys to get fixated on how to make $1 million. How is none of your business. When the universe works together and manifestation starts, you know, when you think a thought, the universe actually moves to manifest the thought. Do you know that? So when you focus on $1 million, don't worry about how you're going to get it. The universe will find a way. God will find a way. And even in the Bible, it says that word became flesh. Okay, I'm Hindi, but you know, I believe in all. I believe in Allah. I believe in Jesus. You name it. Shiva. So I want you to understand something, what I'm saying. That some of you may not believe in 100,000 XRP. Maybe you say, Shane, can you get me just to 1,000 XRP? No problem. 1,000 XRP times $10 is $10,000. 160,000 rand. Will your 2027 be different? Can you take care of some bills? Can you buy a car? I don't know. Pay a deposit, maybe. Deposit on a house. So that's our focus, is to get you XRP. The question is how? How do we earn? Not keep on buying from your hard earned. How do you earn in XRP? That's the game. That's what actually keeps me going as well. I earn in Bitcoin and XRP. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. On your screen, you're seeing a bot. This bot is absolutely magnificent. Now, I know people use the word AI bot very loosely, but I'm going to show you some stuff that's going to blow your mind, right? I'm going to show you how the bot works, in fact. Would like to see that. So how does it work? We do arbitrage trading based on a win-win model. Dr. Jack Van Miller, he's the CEO and the creator of the bot. Yes, I do speak to him. And his last message to me, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday, Dr. Jack. Okay, so these are real people. These are not just images, fake people from the internet, like how some people would do. That's Dr. Jack there. Okay, and he says, we mention you regularly in our talks. I am grateful for you being together with us. You do everything very, very professional. And then I said, that's a non-negotiable for me. When you're here in South Africa, you will see this firsthand. I'm bringing a whole corporate team to South Africa, including Dr. Jack. So let me give you a little bit of him. PhD, aeronautical engineering. He programs drones, writes codes for drones in the military. Absolutely brilliant guy. This bot that you see was created in 2019. So years and years of backtesting. Banks and financial houses use this bot. However, he met Rehan Gohar, who's based in the UK. Very, very wealthy, owns skyscrapers and all of that there. I was on the call with him the other day, and they said, you know what? Why do we have to only take this to big corporates? Can't we make it affordable to take it out to average people so they can earn XRP? And that's when this came to reality. So I want to explain to you what is arbitrage trading. Do you guys know what is arbitrage trading? Y for yes, N for no. Let's go. Y for yes if you know what's arbitrage. If you don't know, type in, because this is how the bot trades, and I want to give you an example, right? Y for no. Okay, good. I just have to see one N. You see, for me, I just need to change one person's life on this call. I'm not worried about everybody. So one, I'm listening. As soon as I see the first N and the first Y, I'm talking to that person, right? So arbitrage is like this. I make it easy. See, I've got an E matrix. So I'm going to make it easy for you to understand, right? Very simple. Check this out. You got a spaza shop that sells bread. Okay, one loaf white Albany bread. You got Spa, one loaf white Albany bread. You got Shell Garage, convenience store, one loaf white Albany bread. Spaza got it for 17 Rand. Spa got it for 20 Rand. Shell got it for 25 Rand. You know the buyers in the whole three places. So you go to the spaza shop. Hey, Booty, can I buy 1,000 loaves of bread, please? I got a buyer in Spa. Yeah, sure. 1,000 loaves, 17 Rand, no problem. Boom. You go to Spa. Hey, I'll give it to you for 19 Rand. You're making 2 Rand on 1,000 loaves of bread. That means you made 2,000 Rand. Okay. Then you could buy from Spa, and you could sell to the Gidar. So those three stores, you are just buying from one and selling to the other. Am I making sense? But what if you buy 10,000 loaves or 100,000 loaves times 2 Rand? You get the picture. The point is that the bigger your buying volume is, although you're making a small profit, your profit increases. So how we do it here at Zap, we work with 4 exchanges. Okay, so there's over 1,000, but we work with the best. Let's put the icon on. We work with Kraken, Bitstamp, Binance, and Coinbase. The 4 top exchanges. All of them sell XRP, not Albany bread, XRP, right? They all sell XRP. But at any given time, XRP is at a different price on that exchange. So what our bot does, instead of you going to the shop owners, the bot goes to this exchange, finds out the price difference, buy from there, sells there, buy from there, sells there. Buy whole day it does that, buys and sells, and gives you the profit. This is not the typical trading that you guys know of, where you put in a buy, you wait for the market to go up. As soon as it hits that point, you take profit. If it doesn't, it falls down, then you lose your money. No. If there's no price difference, no transactions. So let's recap quickly. Sharp game. Vertical arbitrage trading, win-win model, multiple exchanges. I explained that. To take the price variations, I explained that. Rapid automated win trades, only explain that. Quantum computing with IBM. Our data center is based in Finland. British Airways, in fact, use the same data center that we do. Banks use the same data center. So if you look at security, you're in the right place, right? Now, let's show you the next slide and show you how this whole thing comes together. So what does your bot do? Your bot trades for you, gives you up to 1% a day, okay? Now, all you got to do is, and if you look here, it says 6 days a week. So on a Tuesday, you activate your bot. Okay, yesterday's caller activated the bot. How you activate the bot? You click on your bot, you click submit and yes, and it trades for you. 3 buttons. Anybody here on this call that can press 3 buttons? Click on your bot, click submit and yes. If you can't do that, then this is not for you. I suggest that you exit the Zoom if you cannot click 3 buttons. But whole day you'll be poking on Facebook, poke, like. Netflix, skip. This is only 3 buttons for the whole week, right? Now, how does it work? You guys can come in with how many XRP you want. How's that? Minimum being 11. Short and sweet. If you choose to come into 10 XRP, no problem. 1 XRP is the fee, so 11 XRP. How much? Under 350 bucks. Under 350 Rand. What's the price of XRP? $1.26 times 11. Whichever country you're in, times it by 11. That shows this business for us South Africans is around 350 bucks or something, maybe even less. It depends on your exchange you're buying. I'm saying maximum is 350 Rand. Who in this call cannot afford 350 Rand or 11 XRP? That means what you've been doing for the last 5 years is not working for you. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. Time to change. So you can choose how many XRP you got. 12 XRP, no problem. 15 XRP, 501 XRP, 2044 XRP. How does it work? Once you bring your XRP into the Zap Club, into this, it's a smart contract, by the way, on the blockchain, your bot will take your XRP and trade for you, and it's programmed to give you a 300% return. So whatever XRP you come in, times it by 3. You come in with 100 XRP, you're going to earn 300 XRP. Now, we're averaging around 20% per month. That's our average, okay? So some of you ask, how long will it take me to get my XRP out again, my capital? Around 5 months. How does that sound? 20% a month. Some of your money is in your bank right now. You're making 5% for the whole year. And your bank is taking your money and putting it into XRP. Eat that, okay? So look at this now. Make up in your mind, Shane, after what you told me, where all the banks are going and countries are going, where can I come in? If you are in a difficult situation right now and you say, Shane, things are bad, 11 XRP, no problem. Come on board, taste it. Put your little toes in the water and feel what it's like to trade and make some money with XRP. But if you can afford more, remember our target is 100,000 XRP. Okay, so you can start with the minimum of 11. That means that this is duplicatable. This can go out to the masses because the masses can afford this. So how does that work? You get paid out on a smart contract. So if you've got SafePal, if you've got MetaMask, if you've got any of the Web3 wallets, remember, we don't use Luno, Vala, and all of that. You can send money into the smart contract, but you cannot withdraw. Why? Because we are in the Web3 space. Vala, Luno, Altcoin Trader, all is Web2. They own, you have to put in your ID. You understand? Web3, you control your digital data. So none of that. Now, some of you saying, but Shane, I don't have a Web3 wallet. You don't understand. You know, all these stories we say ourselves, don't really understand, Shane. I'm technologically not savvy. Okay, no problem. I got your back, guys. Don't worry, just chill. How's this? At our event, you will be issuing our ZAB MasterCard. That's right, a MasterCard. Let's do a quick research for you here so you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go to Ripple. What am I typing? My bad. Ripple MasterCard. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this Ripple MasterCard. This is ripple.com. Basically, MasterCard is now partnered with Ripple. Let me just go to another podcast because I'm not going to go too much into this yet. So let's look at this. Ripple joins MasterCard, crypto partner. There you go. Can you see that? So how does this work? Let's say you make your money. Sure, you don't understand. My Giza burst. I need some funds. No problem. Transfer from your back office into your MasterCard. Go to the ATM. Minimum $500 a day. If you're in South Africa, that's about 9,000 Rand a day. Could you live with that? I don't know, right? 9,000 Rand a day you can withdraw from. Well, your ATM only gives you 5,000, so you need to use 2 ATMs. And that's not our problem. That's our South African bank's problem. So your MasterCard, tap at SPAR, tap for your fuel, you're good to go. Now, I want to recap everything what I just said. XRP, banks, world, moving there. You, 11 XRP, trading and getting more of the XRP. Why? When the bank starts to come in with the millions, whatever XRP you got, price goes up. So in your mind, you need to ask, how do I accumulate more XRP? Okay, the bot does your trading for you, gives you a 300% return. So how many XRP you come in, times it by 3. Average of 20% a month. In a nutshell, that's what you're getting, okay? You guys understand that? If you understand what I just said, type 1. If you understand what I just said, type 1. The bot, smart contract, and this is the blockchain. That means it cannot be muted, cannot be deleted. The owners themselves cannot put the money. They cannot be a rug pull because this is on the blockchain. Just like how Bitcoin is on the blockchain, this is a smart contract on the blockchain. Okay, you cannot edit this. It's there, right? No CFO can pull the funds up. So, okay, I did a good job there. Everybody's typing 1. Good. Now, I need to pivot a little bit. This is important, right? Let me have a sip of water. You're ready for this one. Now, if you are a person who says, Shane, I love my boss, I work, I love my job, I like the idea of collecting XRP, can I do this passively? Can I just buy the bot, let it trade, and I can just, you know what, my profits take new bots. Yeah, no problem. You can unlimited amount of bots. Today you can buy one, tomorrow you can buy one, next week you can buy one. It all give you 300% return. Okay, no problem. That's you. You are now going to get the link from the person who invited you. You're going to tell them, look, I've got 15 XRP, I've got 20 XRP, or give them a Rand value. Say, you know, I got 500 Rand, or I got 1,000 Rand, or whatever it is, how many XRP I would get. So they work it backwards and they'll tell you, and then you can get your bot for you. Whoever invited you is equipped enough to help you with that. If not, we are here to assist you. Okay. So your job is to get the link from the person who invited you here. In the chat, if you type in, then I know who I'm speaking to. If you type in, that means you've got access to a minimum of 11 XRP or the value of 11 XRP. You don't have XRP. If you type in, I'm in the chat, you're going to get in touch with the person who invited you to the call. Okay. And you're going to tell them, I want XRP because of what I just saw. I cannot sleep knowing that governments are doing this behind my back and I'm not even getting a piece of the action. But now you are in the action. Everybody's in. Now, this next part is very important. You see, when Bitcoin was created, the blockchain, there was no billboards. There was no companies promoting it. There was no banks promoting Bitcoin. Bitcoin grew on a blockchain word of mouth. Web3, AI goes word of mouth. ChatGPT, 100 billion within, I think, 5 days, fastest growing network ever. Word of mouth, not billboards and companies. Understand? Our Web3 banking system, this is a Web3 banking system, is the same thing. What does a bank do when you walk in? Oh, we'll give you 5% for the year and a MasterCard. Okay. We say, hi, we'll give you up to 20% a month, and there's your MasterCard. Can you see? Same thing, except we are decentralized. We are on the blockchain. We are a smart contract. Banks are Web2. They're owned by the Federal Reserve, the central banking system, and all of those jargon. You are your own bank. So I want to partner with you and the person who invited you to the call to take this out to the masses. How many people do you think right now in your contact list or your family should have been on this call to learn what is happening? And they're like, guys, you know, I'd rather sleep now or I'd rather watch Netflix. Today you learn something that you cannot unlearn. Now, I'm talking to you. If you are an entrepreneur, if you say, Shane, I've been always looking for a plan B, had no idea, but with 350 Rand, once off, no monthly fees, no expense. How many of you can open up a business with 11 XRP or 350 Rand or $25? How many of you can open up a business with no expense? I don't need staff. Only thing I have to make sure is my roof. I have a roof. My beautiful ring light must work. You can see it in the picture there. And I have internet. And obviously my screens, right? I don't pay staff. I'm talking to you. So how does it work? When I was in the call with the co-founders, I said, okay, talk to me. So I said, Shane, if you take this out, my wife signed up with me. Every bot she takes, I make 8% every time. 8% every time. She takes 100 XRP bot, I make 8% of 100. I said, oh, that's nice. Boo, boo, boo. I said, what if my daughter joins under my wife? Your wife will get 8%, I'll get 2%. I said, okay, so level 1, my director, I make 8%. And if she goes out and market this, she'll get 2%. I said, yes. And level 3 and level 4 and level 5, you will get paid till 11.20. I said, I love it. Now, this is where people who are financially illiterate shuts off, because when they look at layers, first thing they say, is that one of those things? Hello, your banks do the exact same thing, from your regional branch going down to your satellite, your branches within the city, to your satellite branches, to your ATMs at the garage. It's the same thing. So you can have satellite branches Your level 1 is your main branch, and your level 2 up to 20 levels deep, ladies and gentlemen. This is money for nothing. So check this out. Let me share the screen with you and cover this, right? So we got 4 streams of income. Level 1, 8%. Boom. You understand now, right? Anybody you bring in directly with your link, like how you get an account number, that's what 8% comes to you. Level 2, 2%. Level 3 to level 6, 1%. Level 7 to level 20, 0.5%. When we talk level 10 or level 11 to level 20, we're talking about 500,000 people here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about 500,000 people you're earning 0.5% from. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, because when I talk to you about making $1 million, you guys are thinking that you're going to do this alone. Nah. How many other people that's going to be part of the banking system? How many clients is Absa Bank going to talk to? Saying we need to get to those clients before them. That is what's your mandate. This is what we need to do, is to beat the banks at this business. So this pays you unlimited levels deep. Once you're on a 500 XRP, you get paid unlimited levels deep. 6% of 1,000, 60. Once you claim it, again, if your team volume is 1,000 XRP, you gain another 6%. Ladies and gentlemen, it took me about 70 or 80 days to get to Ruby. I claimed this. And it took me 2 months to go to Sapphire, and now I'm here. I'm the first Sapphire in Africa. Zap is Ruby second. He's going to hit Sapphire soon. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this. We do this in the training, but let's show you how it works in real time. Okay, this is my back office. Who wants to see my back office? Type in yes. Who doesn't want to see my back office? Type in no, because I want to share something for those of you who says, Shane, I only have 10 XRP. Times are difficult. Can you help me become a leave alone $1 millionaire? Can you help me become a millionaire this year? Okay. Now, as I do this, I need to stop my screen because obviously my things are loading here, so I don't want you to see my password, etc. So I got started with 10 XRP. Okay. That time it was 400 Rand. So I want you, the reason I'm showing you this, because I want you to believe my work ethic is different from everybody else's. I do like 5 or 6 Zoom calls a day. Okay. So please don't get carried away with my numbers, because if you can outwork me, you can make more money than me. Okay. This is all about work ethic, nothing for nothing. You don't do the work, you don't get paid. Okay. So what I need to do, guys,